It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Welcome to Newsfeed right here at TV 47. My name is Stanley Nyerungita. Quite a number of stories lined up for you this particular afternoon, including operations of the Kenya Airways airline have been paralyzed after a section of pilots downed their tools. According to the airline, the industrial action will cost the company 300 million Kenyan shillings a day and 2.1 billion Kenyan shillings every week. Now, talks between the Kenya Airline Pilots Association and the government have not bore any fruits. The pilots are accusing the airline management of harassment, victimization and withdrawal of the staff provident fund. Take a look.
Since CALPA issued the industrial action notice, the only meetings held so far have been under the auspices of the Central Organization of Trade Unions, GOtv, and the national government, through the Ministry of Transport as well as Ministry of Labour. We appreciate the efforts made by GOtv and the government to resolve this impasse, with the most recent meeting held yesterday co-chaired by the CS Roads and Transport and CS Labour. The purpose of this industrial action is not to test the new government, seeing that they have just taken office. There are painstaking issues that have been on the table far too long, and CALPA firmly believes that the time is right to have them resolved once and for all. As CALPA has repeatedly mentioned, we are amicable towards and remain committed to any genuine efforts aimed at resolving the current stalemate. To this end, we worked tirelessly throughout last night and shared our revised proposals with Kenya Airways management. Until now, we are yet to hear back from them. This once again demonstrates that it is Kenya Airways management's failure that has gotten us to this point. As you can see, all the Kenya Airways pilots are here at Rubani House and are all ready to get back to work immediately once we come to an amicable agreement with the management. The management needs to reconsider their hardline stance, come to the table, and negotiate in good faith if they truly sympathize with the plight of Kenya Airways passengers. Thank you.
And Elizabeth Ateno is right there, and she'll be definitely telling us more on our subsequent bulletins. Now let's cross over to Mombasa. Azimio leader Raila Odinga and Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aro are this afternoon expected to attend the burial of Mzee Katoi, who was the father to Coast Region ODM youth leader Fikirini Jacobs. Raila is expected to talk about the high cost of living, among other issues. Reporter Paul Muniu is in Mombasa now, joins us live. Good afternoon, Paul. What is the latest from Mombasa? And good to see you right there.
Well, thank you so much, Stanley Nyerungita, and we are in Biobo village in Ganze constituency in Kilifi County, where Raila Odinga, who is the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, is expected to attend this particular funeral, and other leaders of the Coast region. Well, of course, this is the funeral of Mzee Katoi, who is the father to the coastal region. To the coastal region ODM youth leader Fikirini Jacob, and of course we are expecting leaders from this particular region to attend, and what we expect from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga, if he decides to politicize his speech, he is going to talk about the National Social Security Funds that has been a debate in the latest days. We have heard President William Ruto yesterday, standing on his speech and his decision, to increase the NSSF funds by 6%. And of course, that is what we expect him to talk about. We are expecting him to land in any moment. As you can see, we are having cars, getting in, and we are expecting that to happen any moment from now. Remember, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader Raila Odinga said that the NSSF will not be helpful. According to him, he said that it is coming in place. The increment will come in place to add difficulties to Kenyans who are actually struggling with the harsh economic times. Well, that is something that we expect him to talk, but for now we are just anticipating. We are expecting him to come any moment from now. So from this particular end, that is all we have. Stanley Nyaringita, allow me to continue, beaming around, and of course we shall be preparing this particular story in our subsequent bulletin in our 7 and 9 p.m. if he talks about the NSSF funds and fires back to the President William Ruto on that same case. So for now, from Kilifi County to you back in the studio.
Right, thank you very much, Paul Muniu in Kilifi and Mombasa County. And also one thing we're actually expecting to hear from Raila Odinga is where Martha Karua challenged the verdict of the Supreme Court during the 2022 presidential petition. So that is one talking point that we do expect Raila Odinga to say. Thank you very much, Paul Muniu. And speaking on matters, the presidential petition, Kirinyaga political leaders have told NAK Kenya party leader Martha Karua to accept their defeat and stop wasting her time at the East African Court of Justice, led by Kirinyaga Central Member of Parliament Gashoki Gitari. The leaders now say Karua should give up the fight and focus on keeping the government in check. This comes just a day after the Kenya party leader moved to the East Africa Court of Justice, seeking to overturn President William Ruto's win in the August election.
Tunamwambia ache maneno mingi sana. The government is formed. Tuliona akisema hatabui Ruto ni president wa Kenya. Alisema ni president wa kotini. Na kama haja amini ni president, aachane na yeye. Aende asukumane na kesi zake huko ameenda East African. Tumesikia ati amepeleka case East African Court. And I want to remind the people of Kirinyaga, this is not the first time Mother is doing this. When we were defeated with her in her company, when I was in her company by Waigoro, she went to all the courts up to East African Court. She got justice, but she did not become the governor. So badala ya kuwaste time, she is supposed to go home na akae na wajukuu.
I would want to call upon Mheshimiwa Martha Karua with a lot of respect and humility. We recognize her as our elder. We want her to come back to the villages, remain to be our counsel, remain to be our counselor, so that she will be there to shape us. Otherwise, I want to request her to leave her own politics, to forget about the court process that she has initiated. She has the history. She has been to those courts. No much benefit that has been realized. She need to accept that she was defeated. They were defeated together with Raila Odinga. Let them watch the government, offer oversight, and make sure that the government is kept to its toes to deliver on its
matters covering the drought situation. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has led other leaders in distributing relief food to residents who are facing severe drought in Yathui area in Machakos County. At least 500,000 residents have been affected by the drought and are in dire need of relief food. Let's listen in to what happened.
Since I was sworn in about a month and a few weeks, my government has already done 16 mini dams in Machakos County.
Mwezi wa Februari na kwenda zaidi. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu letu kama Wakenya na kama serikali kushirikiana haraka na kuweka mipango ambayo itatusaidia ili tupunguze ile shida ambayo itatokana na hali ya ukamwe na wenzetu wamenena kuhusu kujenga mabawa, kuhusu kuhakikisha kwamba kuna mbegu ambazo zitapeanwa ambazo zinaweza stahamili ile hali ya ukamwe, na pia tuwe na njia ya kuhakikisha kwamba logistics za kufikia watu wengi ziko sawa. Hatuwezi tukafanya sisi peke yetu. Ni lazima tushirikiane sehemu zote za kiserikali, county na ya kitaifa.
And at the same time, Public Service Gender and Affirmative Action CS Aisha Juma has asked the Women Enterprise Fund WEF officials to carry out their duties and responsibilities with utmost transparency and equity, speaking in Msambweni, Kwale County during the historic breaking ceremony to mark the 22nd UN Women Resolution Chapter 1325 on security and peace. Juma directed the WEF officials to disburse the funds to the intended women groups without discrimination. According to Juma, the fund has in the past been swindled by corrupt officials who take bribes from the women groups to be considered for the loans. She has also ordered the Women Enterprise Fund officials to involve county governments and the county commissioners in disbursement of the funds. Kwale Governor Fatuma Chani called the CS to streamline the ministry.
Ulichofanya mke wako si sahihi.
Kwa hivyo sisi haya mambo lazima mama, hebu tuambie. Zile pesa ambazo zilikuwa ziko na hazionekani zitakuwa zinapatikana mashinani kwa uwazi, maana ofisi yangu na katika kitengo cha pesa hizi za kina mama, kutoka leo mimi nimewapa amri kwamba lazima wahusishe ofisi ya gavana wanapofanya utekelezaji wa kazi zao, ili wale beneficiaries wakapate kujulikana, ofisi ya county commissioner ikahusike, chiefs wetu wakapate kuhusika. Mimi nimepata habari kwamba kuna vikundi ambavyo hutoa pesa kwa wafanyi kazi katika WEF ili wakaweze kuwa considered kupata hizi pesa.
Kama ni faida, tupatiwe faida kweli ambazo zitatunufaisha sisi. Ni sawa si sawa? Leo hii kuna checks zinapeanwa leo hii. Nimeangalia katika list. A whole sub county, Lungalunga sub county ni groups 2 pekee zinapata. Tunataka uwazi katika kupeana pesa ya umma. Hii pesa na imani ni haki yetu.
And from Kwale, let's cross over to Baringo County. With the rise of cases of gender-based violence among married couples in Baringo County, the African Inland Church has put in place measures that will end the feuds through sensitizing men and women in the area. Now, through a course dubbed Christian Husband Fellowship, CHF, and Christian Wife Fellowship, CWF, couples taught how to resolve issues arising from the family disputes, hence stemming gender-based violence, which has become a thorny issue in the family. Our unit, Reverend Ruben Kipsumet, says the training has helped in reducing conflicts among married couples, adding that more than 200 men in Baringo County have been sensitized.
Living, a lot of misunderstandings. People cannot appreciate themselves unless people communicate, unless people engage in some discussion. Watu watauana unless people understand themselves. So chanzo ni uchumi imekuwa ngumu. Our orientation tena, trainings, how to cope with life issues inakuwa changamoto. Hakuna mafundisho nzuri yenye itasaidia watu wasiuane. Watu wakipata mafundisho mazuri, like those who are trained today, you can't find them committing suicide.
And beginning with the local church councils, they are part of the team, and also the other departments like we have Nyota. We have also Nyota for the Sunday school. We have cadets for certain groups, that is the ladies to a certain level. We also have the boys. The boys are trained through battalion. And then we have the youth. They are trained through Christian Youth in Action. So all these are educational programs that are undertaken in the church setup to ensure that members are empowered in their knowledge on how to handle spiritual matters of our members.
And still in the same county, the Governor Benjamin Chiboi now says the management of level 5 hospitals in the county has ensured better service delivery. Speaking after holding a consultative meeting with County Assembly departmental committees on health, Chiboi said services in the hospitals have been greatly affected because of lack of mismanagement, adding that the move will improve services in the sub-county hospitals and Baringo referral hospitals. Locals have decried poor healthcare services, forcing to travel tens of kilometers in search of better healthcare services.
To do a few things. Number one, to see if we can rationalize our staffing. Ili tuweze kupata staff wale ambao wako excess in some facilities can be deployed to new facilities which we have built and established, and they have not been staffed for a while. To see if we can also see where we can save on resources in some of the facilities so that we can be able to equip and staff the new facilities where possible. To also establish systems of creating independent management of our major hospitals, the level 4 hospitals of Baringo Referral Hospital, Eldamaravin, Mogotio, Chemalingot, Marigat, and Kabartonjo, so that these hospitals can be more efficient. We also want to look at ensuring that the laboratories in most of our level 3 hospitals are properly equipped, so that it is not necessary for people coming from remote areas or far-flung areas, far areas from the headquarters, to come for just a few tests which can be done in the level 3 hospitals.
And still on matters health, the infestation of jiggers in the rural areas is posing a threat to the public health in the country. In Bomwari area, South Mugirango constituency, Nyamira County, residents are appealing for help following jigger infestation. Now, Polycarp Omari has rubbished claims that the jigger infestation was a result of poverty or witchcraft, but a phenomenon that could be avoided by strictly observing the highest levels of cleanliness.
Kwa wakazi wa Kisii ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba zile nyumba ambazo wanaishi, japo kuna umaskini, tuweze kuzingatia usafi, kwa sababu funza pia hutokana na uchafu ambao vile vile unaletwa na umaskini wa kukosa kununua sabuni. Kwa hivyo lazima tuhakikishe ya kwamba tumezingatia usafi, na pia tunashirikiana na wale wafanyakazi wa mtaani ambao kwa lugha ile ya ungenge tunawaita community health workers, ambao ikiwa kuna hata watoto ambao wanafunza, hauendi na shindano siku hizi kutoa, hapana. Ile funza unaita yule community health worker, wana madawa ambayo wakikusafisha nayo zile funza zinakufa.
Hii mitutu imetuanza, imetukura miaka 4. Sasa tumeteseka nayo, kijana wetu analia, ameteseka, anaumwa na mikono, imemkura mpaka mikono. Sasa tunateseka, tuko na sita. Sasa tunaomba mmetusaidia.
Kati imekushika mzuri hiyo jiggers, inaharibu, iko snaps kwa kichwa, snaps zinakata. Saa zingine unapata anemia, saa zingine unapata tetanus. So hiyo ndio tuna avoid for those jiggers. Ukiingia kwa nyumba, ambia mwenyewe apome nyumba, akishindwa mwaga maji baridi ndio nyumba ikwe.
And at the same time, the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, has lauded the government over its move to fund research on chronic diseases, citing that Kenya needs to be prepared for any disease outbreak. Speaking during the Mombasa International Agriculture Show, KEMRI argued that it has stepped up in cancer research and treatment through its heavy investments on medical equipment. The Research Institute has also established community engagement programs to engage the members of the public on chronic diseases by creating awareness on prevention measures and treatment.
Tunashukuru serikali ya Kenya imetufaidi kwa pesa tasmi 223 million ambazo zinatuwezesha kufanya maneno ya cancer research ambayo inaitwa cancer genomic research, na pia katika make sure tuko na very highly qualified people ambao tunaweza kuwaajiri, na pia tena tumekuwa na laboratory investment na equipment ambazo zinaweza kutusaidia sana kukabiliana na majanga ambayo inakuja. Tuko na cancer registry katika maeneo mbalimbali ya Kenya kama huko Meru, Eldoret, Western Kenya na pia hapa Mwambao wa Pwani ambao inaangalia ni kansa gani zina affect wananchi. Tunafanya research pale na tumefaidiwa na wakurugenzi na ministry na serikali ili kuwezesha kuona ni nini ama ni chakula gani zina affect wananchi wetu.
Kuongea na ile jamii ambao tunafanyia tafiti, tunaweza kuwaelezea kwa lugha ambayo mwanzo wanaweza kuelewa. Tunatumia vitu kama drama, tunatumia vitu kama radio, TV interviews kuwafikia wao, na tunatumia channels ambazo ziko within the region where we are working. So in that way we are able to communicate to the person who needs that information, and we are actually we also have open days where the community can actually visit our centers and see what.
And still in County 001, members of the Young Women's Christian Association of Kenya, WCA, are currently meeting in Mombasa County where they're seeking to identify challenges facing young girls and the solutions to the problems. The conference is also aimed at identifying women's commitments to economic empowerment and brought together women and girls from Tana River, Meru, Nairobi, Kisumu, Siaya, and Kisii counties. However, they have called on the government to intervene and establish workable solutions to address the challenges they are facing and make women equitable in all development sectors.
County government of Meru to implement the SGBV policy that really protects the rights of those who are affected by these abuses in the community. I call upon the Kisii County Gender Department to collaborate with the CSOs and other private sector members to ensure that we have the policy in place by next year so that we can have a guideline for cases of gender-based violence amongst women in the community. I also call upon the Office of the Women Rep, Kisii County, to ensure that women have access to opportunities, procurement opportunities.
What was said in the conference that needs to be implemented for women to be involved in the society economically and for them to have an improved source of income.
By the end of this workshop, the conference, the pre-conference, we'll be able to actually come up with some actionable things that we can follow up with the different stakeholders, and we're just hoping that we'll be able to get some solutions.
And Mombasa human rights activists now want President William Ruto to move with speed and intervene by helping Governor Abdul Somad Nasir to fight and face out suspected cartels who are alleged to be controlling the county government affairs. Led by Caleb Ngwena, the former aspirant for Bamburi Ward MCA seat in the last general elections, the activists challenged President Ruto to act swiftly and fulfill his promise of dealing ruthlessly with cartels in the coastal city.
Please, these extra forces who grab this county, they're not even sympathetic to Mombasa County. Their work is to steal from Mombasa County, and we are watching them. People are dying in Ganze. People are dying in Kilifi. Why can't they divert their money to help those people? Please, Abdul Nasir, stop being intimidated. Have the list, you are prepared, have them.
And to the wonderful world of sports, and we begin with the murky world of football in this particular country. The resumption of football leagues in the country will take a rigorous process of alluring sponsors to support the participating clubs financially. This is according to Sports CS Ababu Namwamba. According to the CS, the one-year hiatus financially set back football matters, hence will prove difficult for the government to support fully the 7 tiers of football leagues in the country upon resumption. CS Namwamba, however, said talks are ongoing with the Football Kenya Federation to partially facilitate the resumption of the leagues, as he called on stakeholders and well-wishers to come on board and better the state of Kenyan football.
Clubs are struggling to survive, let alone pay players. And I am very aware that even if we started the league next weekend, some clubs may not be able to honor their fixtures because of that reality. And by the way, when we talk about restarting the league, it's not just about the Premier League. It's about the leagues, all the 7 tiers, 98 teams. if you're going to have to parachute a package of support or assistance, it is not going to be to the 18 Premier League clubs alone. It has to be to the 98 teams across the 7 tiers. And I did indicate to the clubs in my meeting with them yesterday that I am exploring some options that could make it possible for us to offer some support. What I want to tell the clubs and football lovers is that we cannot let them sink. If we are serious about getting football back, then we have to be prepared to invest in getting football back. And alongside the efforts that we are engaged in, I am also making a public appeal to sponsors